Hello, 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 hello. Can you all hear me okay? Wait. Yeah, there it is. Hello, microphone. How we... Ooh, we static. One sec. And... Okay, how we sounding? We sounding good? How's everybody doing? Hello, 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 hello. God, look how many people there are here today. Okay, what did you do today? What did you do today? Because there's so many new people here. I have to find out. Y'all must have been doing something today, right? I did absolutely nothing. I did absolutely nothing. But let me turn down the music so you can hear me a little bit better. Yes, I did absolutely nothing. All day, I laid in bed. I woke up, streamed, went to bed, slept for I don't know how long, and then just stayed in bed. It was nice. It was nice. You tried to collect new Void links. Well, thank you. You drew a picture of me. I need to see it. You have to send it to me. If you post it on Twitter, I will retweet it, and I'll like it, and I'll make sure everybody knows that you do amazing art. You're talking about chesticles? Do I want to know? Do I want to know? Visiting your brother? Okay, good choices. Good choices. Why do you know how long I was laying in bed, Katamia? Carmia's stalking me, chap. All right, well, lovely. So we got to do the thing we do at the beginning of every single stream. I'm going to say congratulations to those who got first, second, and third. And then I'm going to say hello to every single person who's checked in today. Okay? So if you want to hello, please check in, and then I can say hi to you. And if you don't want me to say hi, then, don't check in, but check in anyways. All right, here we go. Gibbets, Gibberino. Congratulations on getting first. Congratulations, Tally, for getting second. And Glitch of the Ditch, I still love your name. Congratulations on third. Let's see who we got. Imana, thank you for getting... Thank you for checking in, not getting anything. Thank you for checking in, Carvia. Hello, hello. Hello, Neeks and Unstable Raccoon. Hello. Ooh, 1 second, I gotta pull this up. Hello, Unstable Raccoon. Hello, Eli and Kyla's wife. Hello, Lunar Rain. Hello, Bellatrix. Hello, Gabcore. Hello, Echo Infernal. Hello, Red Moon. Hello, Alex. Hello, Maddie and Folly Masaki. Hello, Bumble. Hello, Pink. Hello, Cinder and Sunny the Sunshine. Hello, Pinky and Galaxy and Mutt. Hello, Necro Ninja. Hello, Xenix. Hello, Neffy. Hello, Sinful Microwave and the Real Rabbit Wolf. Hello, Stellar Jazzy and Kitty Love and Spooky Kaz and Tasha. Hello, Asher and Ava and Onyx. Hello, Sleepy Sunny. Hello, Galactic and hello, Tired Nap Time. Hello, Amelia. Hello, Ocean. Hello, Nelia. Hello, Casey. And Coral. Oh my God, your name is Coral. I can't speak. Coral Reefs. Love the name. Good name. Hello, Russell and Solian. Hello, Deshaun and Una Potato and Virus and Poppy. Hello, Sakona and Admally and Little Mouse and Red Faye. Hello, Sierra and hello, Cecilia. Hello, Night Blossom and Kalis and Julia and Gibbets. Hello, Kiana. Wow, Gibbets, you checked in like way after getting first. Hello, Eats Bricks. Hello, Sky the Walrus. Hello, Full Metal Brook and Momu Mia. Hello, Kira and Discorded Fox. Hello, Calypsy and Akiyama. Hello, Dot, Halo and Pan. Thank you for the bonk. Hello, Siren. Hello, Xenoxus. Hello, Misty and Meow. Hello, Seven Seps, Rel, Dea. Hello, Melp. Wow, we have, I guess I have to do German now. Hello, Enrando. Hello, Red Faye. Hello, Sue Official. Hello, Star Wolf. Hello, Glitch of the Ditch. Glitch of the Ditch, why are you checking so late now? Hello, Oshanka, Apple Blossom und Moreau. Little Mouse. Hello, Ariana. Hello, Hat Guy. Hello, Silly. Goosey. Hello, Caitlin. Hello, Shiny Whatever. Hello, Amy. And hello, 7 Guy. Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody? There are so many of you. It is crazy. Every time we come in here, it's just so many more. And I'm honestly, it kind of blows my mind every single time I see it. But hello, hello, hello. I'm glad you've all have found a place. And honestly, I think one of the coolest things is seeing how many people's names I'm starting to recognize all the time. Because there's so many of you who are here every single day, and who are here not only every single day, but every single stream, which is insane. I understand that some of you might be in the same time zone as me, but I wake up at 3:30 a.m. What are you doing? Why are you waking up this early? I do it because I really, really like doing it, but like, I'm not that entertaining. I can't be that entertaining, right? And hello, lovely, lovely new people. You hit... No, I didn't hit 4K. I did... It looks like I hit 4K. I am now almost at 4K. Right now, we are at... Give me a second. Let me look at my Twitch stats. It says 4K. It's not 4K. We are currently at... That's a video game. I don't know. Stop giving me ads. We are at 3,928. We are 72 away. We are 72 away. Now, I don't know if we're going to hit 72 followers in 2 days, today and tomorrow. I don't think y'all can do it. We're close, but we are 72 away. So, to be fair, though, I think y'all went up like 300. Okay, well, now we're a little bit closer. We just got another follow. Thank you for the follow. When we hit 4,000, I have to eat a lemon. I have to eat a whole lemon on stream. I was told it's better with the peel. I don't believe that. So here's the plan, okay? I will take a bite out of it with the peel on. I actually have one in my fridge, right? I have one in my fridge right now. I can't get out of this. I have it in my fridge right now. I was going to use it for tea, but apparently, so I will take one bite with the peel, and then I'm going to peel it, and I'm going to eat the rest of the lemon, the whole lemon, just the fruit. Because apparently people do that, and it's normal, and it's delicious. Why do all my favorite streamers have voice drops so randomly? It's called normal vocal tone. I go up and I get excited and my voice drops down when I chill out. And if I'm really tired, my voice goes really low down here because I'm not putting any effort or energy in my voice. That's why voices change and bumps and go up and down and up and all over the place. It's called having, a voice. Listen to your own voice sometimes. You've never done it? Well, it should be tasty. It should be delicious. No, it shouldn't be delicious. What am I saying? I'm hyping up myself to eat this lemon, and I don't really want to. Okay, you ready? Ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. Also, I need to add 2 voices to this. And I'll be adding the last voice tomorrow to the voice redeems. I know I haven't practiced enough with the other voice that I will have to be adding, but we'll get the Butler voice tomorrow. Whether I do it right away or whether I do it in the evening, we will see. We will see. You eat kiwi skin? Oh, thank you for the head bat. What do you mean? Okay, give me a second. Yep, I saw. Why? Why? Okay, and we'll also do the little whiny voice. Is that better? Is this what you were wanting? I'll do this voice now, okay? Like, it's a voice that I can do, and it's up high, and it's all whiny, and I hate it, but for you, for 1 minute, I can do this. I'm not mixing whiny nerd. because I actually like doing the nerd voice, so you're gonna have to be patient for that one. The kiwi skin? No, but the kiwi skin has a... Oh, okay, I'm such a good doggy. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. But the kiwi skin has all these little hairs. That has to be bad, right? I mean, like, how could that possibly... You all... No, I'm such a good doggy. Why are you liking this so much? No. Okay, the Winnie voice is almost done. We're getting close to the end of it. I can almost stop it in like 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Anyways, normal voice. Good. So, games today. Have y'all ever heard of the game called Timesplitter? Thank you for the bits. Have you ever heard of the game Timesplitter? I've never played the original one, but my buddy wrote, directed, and casted a entire new Timesplitter game. All right, the nerd voice. Sorry, here we go. So he casted an entire new Timesplitter game for free, like an entire video game he just made. I don't understand why you would do this. Oh wait, right, Alexa, 4-minute timer. Because that sounds insane to me. But I've downloaded it. And I'm thinking we might take a little look at it. I don't know what category we're gonna... Ara, there you go. Is that what you wanted? In this stupid voice? You know, I gotta ask, do you feel bonita? I don't know, do you feel bonita? I feel like I'm stuck in a pig suit. We have them on my family... Oh, really? And he gave... No, because it's like, it's... He made a new Timesplitter game. I mean, like, imagine going on there and being like, you know what, I like this game. I like Call of Duty, or I like Legend of Zelda. I'm going to make a new Legend of Zelda game and just give it away for free. What? Why? Who does this? I mean, honestly, it's insane to me that somebody could possibly do it. Oh, wait, I still have this voice more. But, you know, it is what it is. So, wait a second, I got this. Hey, Alexa, play fart noises.
Something went wrong.
Hey, Alexa, play fart noises.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Hey, Siri, call my mom. There we go. Let's see what happens. No, not you. Not you. You don't know who my mom is. I don't know who your mom is. It said my Siri. Oh, and I almost had a heart attack there. I thought I was about to get doxxed. So did anybody's phone call their mom? I just need to know. No? Please raise your hand if your mom's been called. Oh, man. Man, does anybody wear headphones? The Alexa did? Yay. Android and headphones. Oh, fine. Does anybody use the bot for Android? Like if I were to say like, hey Google, call my mom, would it work? Did it work? Come on. Man, your mom's in the kitchen. Go talk to your mom. Give her a kiss for me. Give her my number. Tell her that I will take her out next week. Okay? I do, but God, I have headphones. Talk to your mother. Your mother misses you, unless you've like, if you've cut off your mom, you know. That's fine. Leave her cut off. If you haven't cut off your mom and you're still chill with her, you know, just give her a call and be like, hey, yo, I miss you. Give me $30 so I can do a tier 3 sub to my favorite streamer. Thank you. Speaking of, if we get 5 tier 3 subs, I will enter the the plus program on Twitch. Don't do it, but just thinking, okay, my mother does not miss me. That I can guarantee. Aww. Well, I miss you. I'm glad you're here. I'm my mom's caregiver. Aww. I'll give her little kisses. Okay, sorry. Games. Right. I can't just sit here talking about your mom all day. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Okay. Now we could do Timesplitter. That game my buddy did with a bunch of people, which it looks like it's a full... okay, we have to see it. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, so we'll see. I'll put it in the games category, and I guess I didn't pay for it, so this should be fine. But I gotta see what it was, right? Like, you have to see what he did. Thank you for the bits. Thank you, Goblin. Like, I need to know. I need to know. Okay, I haven't opened it at all yet, and this might be a virus. And so if I get a virus right now, it was nice knowing you, okay? And it wasn't one of those things. It wasn't one of those things where your buddy's like, hey, thank you for the bits. What the heck? Thank you, Spooky. Thank you, Tequila. It wasn't one of those scams where your buddy says, hey, I did this thing, download it and play it. No, my buddy was like, hey, I've been working on this for ages. And like, he showed it to me a few times, and he's like, 'cause he really likes Timesplitter, and he made this whole thing, and he's a voice actor. So he cast all these voice actors. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know what we're about to experience. All I know is we are going to experience something. How do I play you? What? How do I play you? Where's the game? What? Where'd the game go? Okay, but okay. I can't open it when it's not zipped. Hi there. I put your mark in my TikTok name. OC Mark, yeah. Oshi Mark. And, thank you, Fox. I'm glad to hear that. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so if my computer dies now, we'll see. I believe in me. It's processing. We have 38 seconds before this launches. You keep popping up in your Instagram. Instagram? Heck, I actually didn't realize that. Everyone loves a good lemon. Yes, okay, so the lemon thing, for those of you who are missing it, at 4,000 followers, which it's not 4,000 yet. I know it says 4,000. It's not 4,000 yet. I will be eating a lemon. By Monday morning, we have to be at 4,000. If we're not at 4,000 by Monday morning, no lemon. Because somebody redeemed it. Alexa, how much time left on timer?
There are no timers set.
What do you mean there's no timer set? I've just been wearing this for no reason? Are you kidding? What? I'm taking it off. Oh no. There we go. I lost my coloration. Okay, and now we can see, is this going to work with my overlay? So it doesn't work. That's the original colors. I did a recolor of the model. Because, you know, that way it's my own. I like the red better too. This is actually working. This is actually working. This looks really good. Okay, you know, no. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. We are going to play this game that my buddy made with a bunch of other people. I know nothing about it, except it's Timesplitter. And I will link it to all of you once I played a bit to make sure it's good and all. It's fully free. They just made it. So, yeah. Oh, and there is even a category on Twitch. Are we ready? Oh, by the way, yeah, if you don't have a Twitter account yet, please make a Twitter account and follow me on Twitter. Thank you for the stretch. The follows on Twitter help me out so very much. It makes me look more appealing to brands. And that is always very, very helpful. I do appreciate it. Not that like I want, you know, just follow me because, you know, whatever, but, you know. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Thank you. Fox, maybe, probably not. Possibly. I'm a VTuber. I will probably do in-person meetups at some point. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Okay. So, are you ready? Here we go. Let's see, everything's playing okay. Oh, it's got aim assist. Okay, that needs to go. Let me turn off. They better let me turn off aim assist. Aha! There we go. Yay! Oh, you mean Okay, so I have no clue what this is at all. Oh, we're lagging a bit. And I'm shooting people. You thought I couldn't aim? What? I can't do aim assist, I can tell you that much. Oh. Give me a second, give me a second. I think what we might end up doing is I might go and play the original Timesplitter. That way I can understand more of what's going on with this one. Oh yeah. Technically, I do have two. I have an ASMR Twitter and I have a standard Twitter, but it's LuckyJene VT. Wait, so what is this? I can't read or aim. Why'd they turn aim assist back on? There we go. Okay. What are you trying to redeem, Maddie? Thank you for the lurks. Okay, I'm wondering, am I supposed to be doing multiplayer for this? Homie, give me a second. Off. Save. Okay. Ah! Hello, 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 people. Oh, no. Are you really gonna make me do this? I love that. All right, so we're gonna be doing this voice right here as it's been requested. The lovely, lovely nerd voice. Amazing, amazing. Oh, this feels really old school. You sound like your dad sounds like this. Ebby, your dad sounds like this. Can I meet your dad? Wait, no. Can I actually meet your dad? Please. That. I want to meet somebody who sounds like this. Please, Blue Jean. That is funny. Wait. Is he dorky though, or is he like a normal cool guy? Like if he's nerdy and has this voice, then it's perfect. But if he's like a super, hey, stop being a zombie. Oh, I died. Wait, here we go. We're gonna try this again. Oh yeah, so for those of you curious about the little which I do in any voice, it is a picked up behavior from watching other VTubers that came from Japanese people, that sounds racist. let me explain. The is a thing that was done in anime because you couldn't necessarily like do nodding all the time, and it gives you kind of like this affirmation sound, even like when the animation is not as good. VTubers and idols watch a lot of anime, and they picked it up also because it gives it that kind of cutesy vibe. From idol culture, VTubers copied from idols. You know, interacting with a lot of the idol culture, and a lot of the idol groups are the ones that became VTuber groups later on. Yes. And so, from those, from the idol groups is where it came from. Then it went to VTubers, Japanese, Korean VTubers, and then American VTubers emulate or American European VTubers emulate the Asian VTubers, picking up the and then it becomes more of a habit that forms off when you hang out with a lot of people. The thing is that something that a lot of people don't realize, sorry I'm giving all this nerdy stuff right now, is that every household, every group of friends has their own dialect that you don't think about. If you talk to your parents all the time, there's certain words that you guys will share and certain jokes that will be inside jokes. and it becomes your own accent. So even among VTubers, they build this VTuber accent, or you'll hear like the Valorant accent or different video games, because they get used to this conversation style, and so the is a VTuber accent that we all slowly adapt to or pick up, and I have also done it. I also like doing it, and I stim a lot, so, you know, it's a nice thing. There you go. Yeah. And the thing is, like, your family will teach you how to say certain words. Let's think pecan, for instance, or pecan. Your family will say pecan in a certain way, and that is the way you say it. But if your family's in the South and you transplant to another place, you're going to keep the way those words are said until you pick them up from your friends. Welcome at Cheesy Fries. Stealing Gene's vocal stems? Please do. Sorry, I am a nerd, I'm a writer, I am a gambler, and I'm a soon-to-be villain. Which that lore is going to be so much fun. And do you know why I know all of this? Yeah, pop instead of soda, exactly. Barkley? Evil laugh redeem. It's called tell a joke gibbets. That's how you get the evil. That's how you get the evil laugh redeem. This is kind of fun. I'm liking this. I wish there was more story elements to this. But you all know how much of a sucker I am for a story. But the gunplay is clean. It's smooth. Your cousin is watching. And so, like, you know, what's not to like about this? Oh, apparently Spacebar also shoots. Ooh, Tommy gun. I will take that. Ah! Peanut Barkley. Okay, and that's like a thing that neurodivergent people do a lot, which is beneficial but also problematic, is copying people's mannerisms and tones. And so the picking up vocal stems, for instance, is one of those things. So if any of you have ADD, I'm sorry. I will ruin the way you talk, and people are going to be like, why do you sound like that? For the next, like, after the next 5 streams. Screw you and the horse you rode on. Mom, don't screw the horse. Which mirroring is very positive in social interactions where you're meeting new people, because it makes you part of the group. Echolalia, that's what it's called. Yeah. Have I become a villain? Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of ADD things are very beneficial for survival when you were living out in the woods. Unfortunately, we don't live in the woods. Well, fortunately, we don't live in the woods. But, also, unfortunately... Oh, geez. Like, I can mirror mannerisms really well and horribly at the same time. Exactly. Dishonor on your cow. Kenji, I picked up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh. Man, I love Kenji. Kenji's great. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the menagerie. What am I? Oh. The woods are amazing. Oh, yeah. Well, and also some neurotypical people take it as an insult or that you're mocking them when you copy them. So that can also be an issue. Thank you, Karamiya. The original point of survival, as a neurodivergent, was the berries. If this takes me back all the way back to the beginning... no! I am DMing my buddy and I'm telling him put in a freaking checkpoint system. Are you kidding me? Wait, what's this? Raid! Envy! Envy, you should do ASMR. I do. Oh, do AS... You want me to do ASMR with the laugh and the humming? I do ASMR. Every morning. Envy! Envy. Envy, 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 envy. Be patient. Stay right there. Don't move. Don't move. You know what I gotta do. Don't let your viewers leave. This is important. I need to load this. I'm sorry, I haven't loaded the scene yet. Good boy. Okay. All right. So hello, 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 lovely new people. My name's LuckyJene. I'm a gambler. I'm a writer. And I'm a soon-to-be villain. And you know, I had a lovely idea of how to keep all of you people here. By, you know, just never letting you go. So, enjoy the stay. Don't worry, I'll just shake the cage a little bit every once in a while, okay? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Envy, what were you doing? Cage shaking time. How was your... Oh, wait, Envy, I know what you were doing. I came by your stream. You're playing that Lego game. It looked really cute and fun and stuff. Did we get a shout out for Envy already? Okay, we're going to pin Envy's comment, and we're also going to shout Envy out because Envy is such a fantastic VTuber. They made their own model, did it in Vroid, so they have this cool 3D model. They tell some story times. Lovely, lovely person. Absolutely gorgeous. And just fun to be around, so go check them out. Go follow them now. I said follow. I'm waiting. Come on. All right, at least a few of you did. Proud of you. Do you get your monthly outside time? But definitely go watch them as well. They are a lovely streamer. And Envy, how was your stream? Did you enjoy it? It looked like a lot of fun. I couldn't stick around for too long, but it looked cute. Vitamin D. Miss Zoe is lovely. They do seem very interesting. They're very chill. Oh, I'm getting shot. Ooh, wait, sorry, I got distracted. 1 sec. Don't die. No, help. Panicking. I'm trying to read chat, and I got thrown off my group for my talking before. Yes. Oh, welcome back. Don't panic. I refuse. Will I marry you? Heck no. I won't marry anybody, but good luck with that. Gene, don't panic. You're right. I can't read. See, this is what's happening. This is what is happening. I am struggling to read and play at the same time. Can I say meow? Can I say meow? I don't know if I can say meow, but I can go. There we go. My cat hissed. Okay. There we go. My cat is judging. So I figured out I could do that as a child. Thank you. I also like it. Your dog was not convinced. Sorry. I gotta work on my barks. Why am I barking? What am I doing? Give me 1 second when I... What is wrong with me today? I am on such autopilot. I think it's this game. I'm like trying to do good, and I want to get to like the next part of this. Ah! The shooting in this game is fun. Okay, this shooting is so much fun. It's so smooth. I want there to be story. That's all I need. But like, I feel so like, look, the movement, nice and smooth. It feels weighty enough that it makes sense. The gunplay is nice and easy. They don't have any stupid recoil. So, like, when I just want to chill out and shoot something, this is what I like. I like this kind of thing. It gives me the kind of vibe that Risk of Rain gives me sometimes. Can multitask, we swear? I cannot. Your drink exploded! Gibbets, no! Can I bark? Not well, no. But I will. Just not right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, oh. Oh, crates explode. I'm going to project an assignment around streamers. Would it be okay to ask you a few questions? Heck yeah, Spider! Spider, I don't know if you are on either my Twitter or on my Discord, but if you do have my Twitter, feel free to message me on Twitter the questions. I can answer some of them here, but I guarantee I'm going to lose them. Hello, Nuna. How you doing, sweetie? You spent like 10 minutes saying wolf. I did. I just went. But yes. Oh, by the way, we will be getting new mods soon. I have not fully reached out to them yet, but anybody who applied know that I might be reaching out soon. And if you do not get selected, this is nothing personal. I can only have so many mods at once. And there will be future mod opportunities in the future. Everybody who did apply was a very, very good option. And that I'm only just picking out, you know, people I think are the best fit at this moment. They are technically wolf ears. They're just short wolf ears, unfortunately. My dog is growling. Hello there, puppy. Hi there, little puppy. How you doing, little puppy? No growling, okay? Behave yourself. There we go. What is a mod? Oh, a moderator. If you see anybody with a sword next to their name, they have special permissions and they can kick you out of the stream at any point in time. So behave yourself, or they will kick you out at any point in time. They are here to make the stream healthy, make it more enjoyable for me as a streamer to stream. It's just so hard. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I can't lower the difficulty. Oh no. Which, trust me, I mean, the amount of times we've had people come in here just be really, really weird. How many lemons is too many lemons to eat? Or are we talking about general? Oh, multitasking is most definitely not my strong point. I mean, consider there's, what, like 50 people in here right now that I have to read at the same time while playing games? Can you imagine 50 people standing around you right now? How terrifying that would be. 115. Would you consider streaming as your full-time job? Do you have a second job? How often do you stream? And finally, has it impacted your life in any positive or negative ways? Ooh, big question. So streaming is not my full-time job. And here's where you get some interesting terminology that you should definitely consider when you're talking about VTubers. The term a full-time streamer means different things to different people. A full-time streamer to me personally means that I'm doing this as my job, right? 8 hours a day, I'm doing this as a job. Now, when it comes to the States, sometimes a full-time job is a job that you do 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and that's considered full-time. So to some streamers, if they stream 8 hours a day, then to them this is a full-time job, or it's full-time streaming. But in my opinion, if you're not living off of it, it's not a full-time job. So, I do stream 4 hours a day, potentially more, every single day of the week. So I guess I would be a part-time streamer with that mindset. But going off of with that idea, I do work a full-time job in IT currently. I do IT repair. I cannot tell you where. Well, not IT repair. I do general IT. Anything from like working on servers, printers, working with individuals, dealing with anything that is needed, right? And so that is where a lot of my expertise works. You gonna stream on my birthday? I will stream every day for an entire year, so yes. Where were we? Right. Okay, full-time streamer. So I don't consider myself a full-time streamer until this is the only thing I'm doing really to make money, or I'm doing this more than my other job. Imagine you call in here, Gene. Exactly. But yeah, so I fix stuff. Thank you, Hanamiya. So technically, VTubing I consider my second job because I do put enough effort into it to be a job. How often do I stream? Twice every day, at least once a day. And I stream a early ASMR stream, which if you don't know what ASMR is, you might want to look it up. I can't tell you the exact same. I can't tell you exactly what it stands for. But I think it's like auto meridian response. It's the shivers you get down your back when you are listening to good music, basically. And so the goal of ASMR is to recreate that, but I just do soft vibes. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Thank you, Sakona. I also do these chaotic gaming streams, and I do TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. A lot of work. Gur in the front. Sleepy, send me that message on Discord. Has there been positive and has there been negative? Yes. Oh yes. There's been so much positive and so much negative. I mean, I meet cool people like Envy, who came in earlier. My mods are amazing people, and so many of you people here are just absolutely incredible. Like, y'all are fantastic. I love hanging out with all of you. And people donate to me, people give me bits, people give subs. And that is even more amazing, because I mean, like, I'm getting, you're giving me money to hang out and have fun, and I love that. Like, I do not deserve as much as I'm given. I have dealt with kind of negative people as well. And there's been times, you know, when, like, I feel like I've lost friends and people are trying to take advantage of me or have more expectations than I'm willing to give. So, of course, there's negatives. There's always going to be negatives in everything. But no matter what happens, I would never give up streaming. This is my passion, my love, and I will always do this. But if you have any more direct questions, feel free to do so. This model? Oh, yeah, you know what? Let me give you all, what country am I from? I live in the US. I am half German, half American, and I currently live in Colorado. I'm not going to tell you where in Colorado, but I bring this up because I do occasionally smoke cannabis, which is legal in my state. The model I'm paying for right now, this model here is $30. That is not a custom model. It is a model made by the Snow Bear Project, and they sell it on Booth, and it's really cheap. I would suggest, if you ever start VTubing, to get a pre-made model first. It's okay if people copy your model. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You just want to learn how to stream first, and so it's great. A custom model, though, of the same quality, being able to do this, and this, Oh, Spell's it your birthday? Happy birthday, Spell! Happy birthday to you. Vanya's birthday is the 30th, right? Vanya, I thought your birthday is on the 30th, or is it on the 29th? She's a day ahead. Oh! It's both of your happy birthdays. Right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Spell. Happy birthday to you. And now, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, lovely Vanya. Happy birthday to you. I forgot you're a day ahead. Vanya, we're still on for tomorrow, right? I mean, you DM me, but I want to make sure that everything was planned for tomorrow, I thought. Unless I mistook the day. Birthday song, Gene's version on Spotify win? I don't know. For what? Nothing. I'll tell you later, Vanya, okay? No worries. Mwah. Only positives, only positives. Okay, sorry, I got distracted here. Hey, I got an onk! Oh. What were we talking about, lovelies? Where were we? Good night, Abby. Vanya, you are incredible. You deserve nothing but the best. Streaming. Oh, model price. Thank you. Thank you, Nameless School. Okay, so a model like this, where I have as many toggles as I do and this good of face tracking, would cost you, custom-wise, probably about $3,000. It's going to be about $1,000 for the art, because they have to do, like, cutting, segmenting, has to be designed properly. The way you do VTubing model art is a lot more different than doing normal art. It is a long, extensive process. And then you have to do, you have to get it rigged. Because this uses a special program called Live Studio 2D. And it is warped and manipulated in a way to make it seem like possibly mobile. So a model of this quality, custom, you get it like perfect design, is going to be $3,000. It is an investment, and that's why I say start with a pre-built. Start with a pre-built. Because a pre-built is going to be $30. Because they're going to sell 1,000 of them. And then they're going to make $30,000 off of the pre-built. A model like this can take up to 60, 80 hours to make. Minimum. Like, and there are sometimes models like this have multiple teams working them. And if you want something that's good, that you're gonna have forever, oh, hello! I can almost read your name. That's Japanese. I know some of those letters. There's E in there. I recognize some of those letters, but I cannot read it. You want to learn how to do it? Oh, it's so cool. Y'all want to? No, you know what we're going to do? We're taking a break. We're taking a quick break. We're going to look at VTuber models real quick, because I want to show you how they're rigged and how they're built, because it's really interesting, okay? Mine is from Booth PM. It is a mass-produced model, and it's about 30 to 50 bucks. Made by the Snow Bear Project. If you look up Snow Bear Project, you'll be able to find it. Yep, we're gonna switch to just chatting for a second. We're gonna look at models for a little bit because they're so cool. Okay. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. So, I have to also close this game in the background because it's going to drive me insane. Okay, so, VTuber models. We're going to look at some VTuber models and how they're cut and how they're rigged. So I want to see if we have this here. Okay. So you have something like simple like this, right? Where we go? Okay, models, right? You see how they have all this motion, the movement, and they can change in the shape and everything like that? Now, we don't realize is the reason why all these models are allowed to can move like this is because these limbs, these body parts and all this stuff is drawn in a way that they overlap and that you can warp and shape them, okay? Let's see if we can find a good example here. Okay, so you got your sketch, you do a normal sketch, you bring it all down, and it gets into the, here, we start actually getting into like making the pieces, the individual pieces. I'm trying to find exactly where she talks about cutting. Oh, here we go. Okay, cutting in pieces, right? Here's where you get into the big money part of doing this. So you see how I have hair, and all the hair moves separately? And it all swooshes around? That is each an individual piece. Every single one of these is an individual piece that you have to draw out and make and cut and shape and do all of these and getting it down all in the right shape and the placement and everything here. It is such a long, extensive process. I tried doing it once. I'm not a good artist, don't get me wrong. I wanted to see if I could take like a photo and make it into something, but it's just so much work. Oh, I guess separating models. Okay, so here's where they're actually going to separate it. You see they're cutting all the pieces. They're showing how they overlap. Giving you little, they don't want the gaps, so you have that drawing like that. It's just, it's a lot of work. And that part is the cheapest part, because then you actually have to do rigging. Time lapse, there we go. Let's see if this one's good. Okay, you see how that she's warping it? Or whoever this is warping it, and they're changing the shape of it so that it can give you the impression of movement. They have to do all of this, and then it calibrates, and they have to connect it to the camera movements and everything so that it can actually change and show you all this stuff. It's tiny little details. It's amazing. And that is only if you want them to move left, right, up, down. You want more elaborate movements? Hours. Hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of work. And that is why a model like this is $3,000, but I paid $30 because it's a pre-made. And you only really want to get a custom model if you're making merchandise. Because I can get fan art of this character, right? Amazing. I can make things based off of this character, like the little chibi guy in the corner, which was made by Vanya, by the way. Lovely artist. But I cannot sell any merchandise with this character on it. I cannot do custom audio redeems as this character because I don't own the full thing. So now I'm having to pay $3,000 to get my own one done so I can have custom stuff later on. Thank you for the follow. Anyways. Sorry about that. I like talking about content in VTubers and all that stuff. Exclamation point Discord. Oh, I chose this model because of this. And this. And the ears. That's why. Because these little features a lot of models don't have, and like look how mobile. If I move here and here, and I can have some like body movement, how everything shapes and like that. It is so nice. It's so like fluid. And it makes me I like looking at myself when I do the model. Gibbets, I forgot about that. I forgot the blinking is tied to the... I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Why does it do that? Why are the ears tied to the blinking? How long am I going to stream for? At least 1 more hour, if not 2 more hours. We'll see. Okay. I want something else. Because I don't track my own ears. That's fair. I don't look at my ears. Thank you for the follow. Hello, I'm doing a check-in. Can't stay. I'm in the party. Have fun at the party, dork. I want to shoot things. Do I buy the new Do I buy the new Risk of Rain DLC and install it on stream and risk everything breaking while I sit here? What do you think? Because then I can just run around and shoot things and we can talk. Oh, I am out of data like a week ago. That's fine. I'm just paying the overage charge. Because guess how much my power bill was this month? Guess how much my power bill was this month? Oh, we could do Red Dead! I haven't done Red Dead in a long time. Nah, I don't want to. I want to shoot. Guess how much my power bill was this month. So, when I was... No, Nameless, you remembered. When I was in the summer, I ran my AC and I didn't realize it ran nonstop, okay? And that cost me $300. I can handle the cold. I just put a blanket on, so I haven't been running my heating at all. $70 for both my gas and power. $70 for just my computer. That's right. That's right. $70 just to run all the power for one month. Right? $70 is amazing to have that. All I did was pay $70. Was nice. $300 was the one time, but that's all I ran was my lights and everything else. Right? $300 is what I did the first time. It's because I didn't run anything and I'm in an apartment. It's so great. So I'm using all that additional money to pay for my internet this month because I'm going over. I'm definitely hitting an overage this month. I am Colorado and fall $450. Yeah, well that's $70. Boop. Okay, I'm going to see if it will let me install this game. If the stream crashes, I will cry. Get ready. Get ready for my tears to flow. Wait, did I not buy this? Did I only put it in my... Where'd it go? Did I pay for you? Where's my cart? How do I get to my cart? Help! Okay, I don't know where that went. The game's gone. Oh, I also need to buy Dave the Diver. So you know what? We'll add Dave the Diver to my cart because it's on sale right now. Let me view my cart. Did I buy it or did I not buy it? I'm so confused. Help. No, you're not free from the basement. The prison cell, it goes deep, y'all. The prison cell goes deep. Y'all ain't escaping, no matter what you try. And I admire you for trying to get out all the time, but you know, not happening. Not happening. Hey, Katamia, how much do you owe on your gas? All right, let's see. Are we crashing? Are we still running fine? Are we smooth? Ah, it's smooth! What's painful to listen to, Neffy? Me? Am I painful to listen to? You don't like listening to me, Neffy? What did I do? Neffy? Please? What did I do? Neffy hates me, chat. Neffy hates me. I would like my giant hermit crab. Squishmallow, you can have it. No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with Neffy. You do not, man. Why am I whimpering? Are you whimpering? A little bit, maybe. No. Why I came back? Oh, my adulting. Oh. Okay, Neffy, you're fine then. Neffy, you get a pass this time. Man, here I thought you hated my voice. Man, that one person came in. Is it okay to... Oh, yeah, draw me. Okay, for me to draw on the wall? Oh, yeah, you can draw on the wall, too. I don't know, that one person came in. They're like, you sound deeper in your TikToks. And I'm like, I'm sorry for being happy. Jeez. Oh, that was funny. Katamia. Yeah, I know. It sounds like when I talk about my power being like, oh, I'm super excited. That's only $70. Our power is also expensive. Oh, I'm happy when I make my TikToks. I am happy when I make my TikToks, but I'm more like in the zone and I'm not like, not to call myself a dog, but you know when you get a dog with a bunch of new people and the dog goes super hyper and excited and bounces around and is jumping and running around in circles and all that kind of stuff? That is me on stream. Every time I'm on stream, I'm like a little dog freaking out. So excited, so happy that I see all these cool people. I'm like, ah, look at all these people, yay! But when I'm doing TikToks, it's the dog just like hanging out in his round with his normal friends and family. He's like, yeah, you know, God, I really like this guy. Look, John? I'm glad John came around again. Anyways, I'm gonna go lay in front of the fireplace for a little while. If you need anything, that's me. That's me when I'm like this right now. Or not like this when I'm doing my TikToks. Oh. All right, we're gonna change the game. There we go. You're drawing a husky, good puppy. We love a good vocal range. I know, right? I can do so many voices. It's me. I'm the voice man. I do the voice when I'm the man. I am 6'4". Do I eat pineapple? I love pineapple. Oh, I love pineapple. There's something about a fruit that eats me. It just makes me very happy. Y'all have heard my voice demo, right? Y'all have heard my voice demo, right? Yes. I thought most of you had. No? All right, 1 second. While I get this game ready, we'll play the voice demo. I don't think I'm gonna make it. My legs hurt. Even my brain hurts.
Reversing the polarity will cause a cataclysmic reaction of... turn the dials right. Make device go boom!
I thought I'd left you dead in the desert.
I mean, haunted by ghosts, ain't I? I guess I deserve it.
Good evening, fellow Mad Cats. DJ Fang is ready to spin more records. Coming up next, 12 commercials back to back. My favorite.
You made it! I didn't think you'd come. No one else has. Still, you seriously made my day. We are not taking any more party members. Wait, are you wearing a dead possum as a scarf?
Nah, she ain't dead. She's just scared. The poor sweetie pie.
Please, take a seat. Right here, by my side. Where you can't get away so easily. I am Nerd. Hear me roar. I can't really roar that well, but I'm trying, okay? Well, that's what the last guy thought. And you don't want to know what happened to him.
Do not be blinded by fear, my child. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it pass. Remember, only you shall remain in the end.
And that's the voice demo. I'm gonna try to see if I can unlock some of the skins today. We're gonna swap on Artifact of Command, Artifact of Sacrifice, and Artifact of Swarms. My favorites. You love that? I'm glad you all like it. It is one of my... I mean, so that was made... So the guy who did the Timesplitters game that like we were doing earlier... Oh, I forgot I changed my keybinds here. Let me get used to this again. Anyways, the guy who did the Timesplitters game... he also did my voice demo. If you'd like to go check him out, he does not charge too much for a voice demo. I mean, it's like, I don't know, between like 100 to 300. All of those voices are directed by him. He helps you come up with the idea for the voices. He comes up with the scripts and everything. His name is Jake the Voice Parr. Jake, The Voice Parr, Parr. You can check him out on Twitter. Great voice actor. And yeah, he does voice. You can either hire him to do voice acting, or you can hire him to do a demo for you. No, you do not have to have an original script. He wrote the script. Every single voice in there, he came up with the idea behind the voices. He wrote the script. So here's how the process goes for anybody wanting to do a voice demo at some point in time. I go out there. Or I don't go out there. I hit him up on Discord. He's like, okay, I need you just to do a couple voices for me. Tell me what voices you can do, right? And so I went through a bunch of voices. I did like my little nerdy voice. I went all the way up here. I went,
I went down as slow as I could down here.
And did like a few accents and stuff. And he then goes, okay, cool. So here's some scripts I'd like you to do a read of. Go ahead and like do your interpretation of this. Like this is like here's a profile of what this character would be, and here's the script. And so you take those, you do some temps on him, and if he's like, I think you can do better than that, like he'll push you to go like a little bit beyond what you can normally do, because he wants to hit as wide of a vocal range as you possibly can to show off your talents, right? And so he does that. He gives a lot of really good feedback. Then he takes all that stuff, edits it, cuts down, like, so I have an issue with in my current place, which you might not hear right now, but there's a little bit of an electronic sound in some of my recording that I can't get rid of. I think it's because of the apartment itself. And he's able to get out that noise, get out the static, make it sound even nicer. So yes, I'm a femboy. I mean, I could be a femboy for him if he asked. I couldn't. I do not have the build of a femboy. But yeah. Oh, it's just for just for the dad, though. Look, I have standards. You like villains? I also like villains. Hello, Pumpkin. How you doing? We're just shooting things and yapping. If y'all have any like questions though about like, oh, I gotta rebind my controls. 1 second. Am I playing on the right profile? I'm playing on the wrong profile. Jeez. Okay, no wonder this is going badly. There it is. Aha, I knew I had more unlocked. Yay! Okay. I want to try out this new guy. We're gonna play with the artifacts that I like. Command. Actually, I don't even know what this guy does. Alright, let's figure it out. This is just Gene's Nerd Out stream. That's pretty much all that has been. It's been nice just hanging out with you guys today. I do have plans for some more like story games that I want to play and like some more in-depth stuff. So do get ready for that kind of thing. And if there's any games that you all would like to see, let me know, okay? Oh, have a good day at work, Necro. Also, for those of you who have not wished Vanya a happy birthday yet, it is officially their birthday in China. So, you know, go do that. Okay, wait, what's this do? Command a drone to activate a special skill. Fire a pistol shot. Command a drone to lift you into the air. Launch a drone that knocks... Ooh, this is difficult. Okay. I already did sing, but we'll do it again. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for the head pats. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vanya. Happy birthday to you. I don't like this character. I don't understand him. I'm killing him. We're playing a different character. Takes too much thought. No, I refuse. I'll just visit the new DLC stuff. Let's go. Oops. Oh, you're fine, Solian. Oh, yeah, God, I forgot about that. Y'all. The collab stream is gonna be so cool. Oh. We have Tippy. We have Moo, who comes by here all the time. Mukia. We have Magical John, and we have Goblin Fia. Do you not like to think? I do not like to think. No, it's awful. And it is going to be so cool. So cool. I'm so excited. I should do it. There we go. We're going to be playing, it's some sort of like shooter game where you hunt each other and you kill each other. Very goofy, very insane. But I haven't played a game like this for the longest time where you just get to fight your friends, you know? Where you just get to shoot your friends a bunch and you get to hang out and you vibe. Like, it's... I used to, back in the day, I've never told you all about the time I stayed up all night. Like, I know it's a normal thing to do now, but like, when I was a kid, like the first time I ever stayed up all night on accident, I went to my buddy's birthday party sleepover, right? This was like elementary school or something. And we had the old N64. And we pulled out, I can't remember what game it was. It might have been Perfect Dark or James Bond or one of those old shooter games, right? And we couldn't play the actual game, but we could play the multiplayer. And so we would go and we just shoot each other in the multiplayer for hours and hours and hours. And eventually everybody fell asleep except me and this one kid. I was the youngest kid. I was so young. I mean, like all the people there, it might have been a little weird actually. Like I was maybe first grade, and the guy I was at was like, he was in 6th grade or something. I was a tiny little child. But me and this boy played the game for hours. The same level, unlimited time, just hunting down and shooting each other. And then that's it. And then everybody woke up, so we pretended to fall asleep. We pretended to be asleep so that nobody would know that we stayed up all night. And then that night, when I went home, I was sitting on... I was not 6'4" the entire time, no. That night, when I went home, I was waiting for my like, Chef Boyardee ravioli, where I'd, like, eaten one bite of it. And I fell asleep in my chair, head back, tilted, like, sideways, just going... And there's a picture of me somewhere as this tiny child zonked at the dinner table, just falling asleep where I was sitting. But I mean, I loved those kind of days, and like just getting to hang out with friends, shoot things, shoot each other, with like not trying to win, you know? There was no like Overwatch or like the hero stuff where you're like have these rounds and you have to do the best. It's just you shoot each other. That's it. I have no clue how old I was. Not a clue. But I was tiny. Small. Yeah. 6'7". No, we're not doing 6'7" thing here. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Bye, Leon. Oh, who knows? It's a secret. But I will never tell you, I will never confirm my age or deny my age, because VTubers are endless. And that's what we're doing. This Thursday, we're going to be hanging out with all of these cool people who are going to be doing this game with me. A lot of fun. And we will see how that... Oh, they added new items, so now I don't know where my items moved to. There it is. Sick, but I need to finish. Ooh, good luck, Anya. I believe in you. I am 6'4", yes. I'm pretty sure that's in my About Me. I get asked enough how tall I am that I put it in my About Me. Oh, Sunny, I think this one's gonna be great. We'll see how much they charge. I be tall. Did I change the game? Yeah, we did. Built like a giraffe. I'm only 3 apples tall, but 3 very large apples. You know, I might play this with y'all sometime. I don't know if anybody else plays Risk of Rain, but I might do this for a community night where I can get like 4 people to come hang out and we'll just shoot some stuff. I can teach some people how to play this game. Because this is just it's a lot of fun to hang out with people, vibe, shoot people, run around. How high the counter would go? Do we count Do we count individual or do we count And I died because I wasn't paying attention. All right. Gotta go again. 5-4. I know, right, Goblin? I mean, it depends on where you're from. And the thing is, tall people hang out with other tall people. Give me a sec. I gotta fix this. Give me a sec. I gotta fix this. Oh, we do not bully short people. What? Never. I've not seen FNAF 1, but I might. I mean, mods are a special case. I legally am required to make fun of my mods. God came to me and said, Gene, bully your mods. And I was like, okay, God, I can do that. Also, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm just a guy with a deep voice. All right, God, please stop calling me God. That's true. Anyways, I should actually play the game now. Where is the next part? Ooh, that's what I'm looking for. I want to put Nick's stuff in place around a fridge. You could. Neeks is tiny. It was the flying spaghetti monster. Do y'all know about the flying spaghetti monster? That's just a parody religion. There's like quite a lot of parody religions. Never knew. I learned about them later. The child I'm raising is not mine. He hates jalapeno poppers. That's so funny. It's so funny to me. He blesses you with his noodly appendage. He does bless you with his noodly appendage. Okay, y'all, if you were to make me collab with a famous VTuber, who would you want me to collab with? And I know some of you don't like VTubers at all, so this might be hard for you. But I need to see like where your vibes are at, to see what kind of people you like and who you think I should play with. Alpha who? Sens? You know, I've talked to Sens. I think it was Sens once, because I hired him to help me set up my my aim when I was really into FPS games. Lawless Jane, Yundere. Is Jonas Oh shoot, yeah. No, that would be sick. Wait, me and who would be adorable, Neek? Fillion? So I'm gonna tell you this because I can't tell you more than this. But I do know somebody who knows Fillion. I don't know if I would ever if I maybe get 3D, maybe I would collab with Fillion at some point in time. But like, there is potential that I could meet cool people through them. I mean, the people I know are amazing on their own right, don't get me wrong. But like, yes. Lawless Jane. Sayu. Oh, Sayu would be so sick. I don't know how I'd react to like the voice actor people though. Like, I would probably be like, hi. You're really cool, and I've seen you in all these things, and all right, we're streaming right now. I'm your first VTuber. I'm glad I could pop that bubble for you. But Alpha's also a massive nerd. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I know they'd be amazing to talk to and stuff. But like, there would definitely be a moment being like, they just involved with the voice actor. They did. How do I beat them? Thank you for the follow. Oh shoot. I might need to practice my DMing skills for a while. So I am thinking about doing a one-shot D&D sessions for subscribers. Just a heads up. So who is Jane? Jane sounds cool. Jane won't talk in German? Jane won't talk in German or only talks in German? Why won't they talk in German? He refuses. He hates German. So if I were to talk to him in German, would he hate me? What if can he understand German? Ja, na wohl. Ich weiß, was ich will machen. Okay, gut, gut, gut. Alles gut, alles gut. Ich glaube, ich muss mit ihm reden und wir können was sehen. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. And my German's gonna be so bad. My German is so bad, especially compared to him, so he will. He releases a plush. Oh, sick. Don't make alt accounts. But thank you all for the follows, by the way. I know I haven't said hi to everybody who's followed. I do apologize for that. I'm just in the zone right now. Eugen, welcome to the menagerie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Germans hate speaking German? Oh yeah, I'm only half German, that's why. That is why I like speaking German. Because I get complimented by Germans for speaking German. No, we're not. I know the limit is close. I know it's close. But I don't wanna. Y'all, this is the one time I feel like I have felt like a big streamer. Do you wanna know why? Because I'm playing some random nothing game that I love, just talking and hanging out, and all of my favorite streamers do this. Where they just play the random game that they love, and people come in and complain about it. Wait, somebody needs to complain about the game. Somebody pretend that you hate this game right now and complain about it, so I can get all prissy and be like, you just don't understand good games. Wow, game is not enough colors. No. You don't understand how complex this game is. I mean, like, they took a 2D concept and made it this 3D game. Like, geez, and look at all the customization. Like, this boils down the basics of what you need in a game. It has clean shooting, collection of loot, and none of this insane over-the-top story or gameplay that you need. Needs more red and black. Well, do you see there's other worlds? You just haven't been here long enough to see the red and black, okay? You don't need jiggle physics in every game. Needs more blood. Okay, valid. Feel better now? Thank you. Thank you. I got to be Northern Lion there for a little bit. Apparently he has this habit of, like, he'll play these stupid games and he defends them so hard. Where is it? There it is. And like, the worse the game is, the harder he defends it, and the more he says, like, it is the greatest game of all time. Like, that it just, like, it makes everything perfect. And so I'm like, I can do that. I want to be that. I'm doing so poorly right now. Whoop. Don't die, don't die, don't die. No! Okay. I need to change the stuff that I'm using right now. I need... Oh, that's what I need. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm an idiot. No, oh. What's the line? What? I need a line. I need a cringe line. Like a power of friendship line. For those of you who don't know, I have two primary philosophies. Well, not philosophies. Two primary ideas. One of them is, I used to swear too much, so whenever I swear I have to bark, because swearing is often used as fillers, and that way you talk less and you have a less enjoyable conversation. And number two, I made too much self-deprecating comedy, and if you say too much negative stuff about yourself, even as a joke, eventually your brain doesn't realize it's a joke anymore. So, to do that, I now have to read off a cringe line. So we're gonna look up a cringe line. Do we want cringe pickup lines, or do we want cringe lines, normal lines? Your choice. First one I read is what we get. All right. Pickup lines? Okay. Let's see. Do we want to do cringy voice, or do we want to do like deep voice? Thank you, Starwolf. Okay, we'll do Carmios first. We'll do the, what if I'm not a superhero? What if I'm a bad guy? For this one, it's, are you a magnet? Because you sure are attracting me over here. Do you play soccer? Because you look like a keeper. And one more. If you were a fruit, you'd be a fine apple. There you go. If you'd be if you Where's Vanya? Vanya, are you here? I died that quickly. Vanya likes to call me a fruit. Valid. Kingdom Hearts? Oh, Kingdom Hearts is lovely. Oh, wait. I know, right? That's exactly. Wait, I got the guys. Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen those? The one. I like the videos where they make fun of people doing like forced deep voices. Because they're just like, they'll take like E-girl and E-boy, and E-boy's just like, this is my real voice. I just love it. Oh, Cozy Goth Wife, how you doing? I like your name. I like your name that's pink. It's easier for me to read. I don't know if it is pink, but it's pink on my screen. Right on the cages. Where is she? I can't. I can't. I can't. I wanted to try to do Bane, but I just thinking about doing Bane's voice is making it so hard for me. I can't do Bane's voice. I have to think about Bane's voice, and I have to hear myself doing Bane's voice to do Bane's voice, because Bane is such a unique voice. But yeah, I give up. We've not made it past level 1, by the way. We have not made it past level 1. Batman, you. What's the line? The stupid, the darkness, the. Oh, I need to look up the stupid line, the darkness line. I was born in it, born in darkness. I need the whole line. Ah, you think the darkness is your ally, Batman? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light of day until I was already a man. Fucking. You were the. I was the darkness. You were Batman. Wait. I might be manic right now. No, we're good. I'm having fun. And I used to do a good Joker, but I can't do Joker properly unless I, did I take meds? Oh, I took meds a long time ago, Carmi. Meds don't prevent me from going manic. Meds prevent me from getting really angry very easily. But I have to do the Joker laugh and the joke. Oh, by the way, I saw Hoshi. Hello, Hoshi. Hoshi Breeze is a fantastic VTuber. They do Minecraft, and we're gonna play some games together if they'll schedule it, because I refuse to schedule it because I want them to schedule it. Hoshi, schedule it for me already. Mwah. Hi, Ocean.
Man, I can't do a shout out.
That's what Carmia sounds like in my head right now.
Man. Oh, man. I'm just a little mod and I can't do a little shout out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carmia.
Oh, man.
Hey, Carmia. Carmia, what's your power level like, Carmia? Carmia, what's your power level? Mine's pretty high.
Hi, Kitty Goth. How many goths do we have here? Y'all, if you're a goth baddie, raise your hand, please. I need to see if I'm the streamer with the most goth baddies here. Men, women, non-binary, trans, whatever. Raise your hand, and if you're a goth baddie, thank you. Oh, God, Sean. oh my. Give me that plus ultra. Sorry, we're done. I've got jewelry. Ocean, you count. Ocean. Down. I will stop. I'm sorry, Carmia. Don't leave me. Of course I like MHA. Honestly, I like the power system. I like My Hero Academia's powers. They're very cool. I like quirks. They're a very unique idea. And I know, like, everybody has their old coming-of-age thing, and... But, heroes are cool, okay? They don't call me Daddy for nothing. It's me. Daddy man. Yes, I'm trying to see how many goth baddies we have in here. Chat, can we... Hey, Neeks, I don't know if you know how to run a poll, but it's /poll. We need 2 categories. Goth baddie and not goth baddie. And I want to see how many people are goth baddies. And if you're goth, you're a baddie. Soft pastel goth girl does count. We're going to do a poll to see how many goth baddies we have here. If you do not know how to do it, Neeks, you're gonna learn today. Daddies count too? You can be a daddy and a baddie. I'm not goth, sorry, and that's fine. What if I'm a baddie but not goth? We're not looking for baddies yet. We're just looking for the goth baddies. Soft pastel goth farmer. Emo count as goth. For this mind experience, we'll allow emos, punks to also count in the goth baddie category. Because if you were to be an emo, and you show up on TikTok and you do a little TikTok dance, some e-boy is gonna be like, "Oh my god, I love goth baddies." So we're going off of the idea of what a dude frat boy would call a goth baddie, okay? /poll, goth baddie, not goth baddie. Those are the 2 options we have. I know, right? Everything has been demoted to just goth baddie. Oh, no, you could be punk, wear plaid pants, wear your combat boots, leather jacket, all that shiz. Or you could be a crust punk, and they'd still be like, "Hey, look at this goth baddie." God, I love me a goth baddie. Do y'all know what a crust punk is, by the way? I think... Okay, crust punk... So crust and crust punk refers to dirt and grime, as in, like, you have built up a crust. So usually it's people, they will, like, they don't... Oftentimes they'll shower, but, like, their clothes is really musty. Usually they'll live in, like, a shared crash place, or, like, a trap house or something. Usually broke punks end up being crust punk whether they want to be or not. I think it's funny when you have performative crust punks, when you have people who are like, are poser crust punks, because like, Honey Bunch, why? Out of everything you could choose we have 19 goth baddies, and goth baddies win. Amazing. Goth baddies? Oh, I love goth baddies. You're just not. Me when I'm not. Okay, I think I now have a good build that we can actually progress with this game. Honestly though, 19, y'all know that there's been streams I've had where I only had 19 people, and now 19 of you are goth baddies. So, you know, coming up in the world. That's how you know you've made it as a streamer, when I don't know what I'm doing right now, honestly. What is happening? What has been happening for the last, like, 30, 40 minutes? Has anybody kept up with stream at all? I don't know how to feel high. I feel a little high, but I have definitely not smoked recently or consumed anything, so, you know. That's what it is. It's ADD. Yes, I can do the nerd voice now. All right, everybody, we're going to be doing this little voice for a little while. I'm just being a little silly goofy. Oh, I'm sorry, Othin. It's fine. Hi, Odine. Hello, everybody. The dopamine got us. The dopamine's got a good kick today. It tastes pretty nice. I don't know what to eat. Ooh, I got chicken breast, stuffing, and cranberry sauce on my plate right now. I'm worried about the chicken. It might kill me. We'll find out. If it does, it was nice knowing you. Oh, it's okay, Sakona. Lovely. If you have a headache, you don't have to be here. I love the support and I love the attention y'all give me, but like, you all can take some time off from me. I'm totally fine. If you want to just like check in, get your streak, and leave, I get that. I want you to come back and I want you to be here, but like, your health is the most important thing to me. Have you ever had hydrogen peroxide? Hydrogen peroxide does not taste good. Do not eat hydrogen peroxide. God, I dated this girl once. Karamia, you don't count. So. I don't like calling anybody stupid. And everybody knows I am a supporter of women's rights and women's wrongs. But I dated this girl back when I was in like middle school or high school, long distance, who wanted to take a day off of work or from school. And she did this. She drank a cap full of peroxide. Peroxide killed cells. She spent the entire of the day vomiting. Peroxide tears apart cells at a cellular level. That can kill you. Don't drink peroxide. Just skip. And I'm on a mental stage where I think like everybody has something they're smart about. Everybody is smart about something. I was really trying hard to find out what she was smart about. I did not stick around. Anyway. Really? I want to make hydrogen peroxide. Yeah, peroxide will cause scarring. The only time I ever use peroxide is for if I ever get like an infection around, like, or if I see somebody with like an infection around like their fingernails or something. Because then it's not like an open wound. Do not use proc that on an open wound. That is very bad for you. There we go. See, this is what I needed. I need that one piece of armor. Yeah. We're shooting things. We're talking, we're hanging out. That's what's happening. Oh, I can stop the voice, right? Yeah, peroxide's a good cleaner. If you want to use something to disinfect, rubbing alcohol is going to be a lot better. Isopropyl alcohol. Soap. Honey Buncher's soap. Use soap. Bleach in small amounts. Peroxide's good for getting blood out. Even the head pads, Ocean. I mean, I use an oral rinse that has peroxide as part of the solution, but like, again, you use that when you don't have open wounds in your mouth, and you use that as like a, oop, this is bad. Okay. Oh, jeez. Give me my shield, give me my shield, give me my shield. Ah! 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 Don't kill me! No! Okay. Hand over your ooh, fine. Ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. There you go. Okay. Here's what I need. I need something to speed me up. Moo! Moo, where's your badge? Where's your partner badge? Did you undress? Did you remove your uniform? Y'all, if I ever hit partner, I will never remove my badge. I know you can do it. But and I know like there's good reason to do it. Like some people do get like obsessed with the partner badge and people will treat you differently. And I've seen like some streamers will get upset at you for being a partner in their stream. That was one of the craziest things I ever saw back in the day. Like when I was just more of like a viewer and stuff. Somebody was like, yeah, I saw a small streamer. I wanted to see what was up. And I was like, hey, what's up? And I got ignored the entire time. And then I got banned. Not me. This is like, I'm talking from the perspective of somebody else. And they go, and they're like, yeah, you're trying to, like, you're clearly trying to steal my viewers. And the thing is, like, if you hit partner, especially if you hit partner naturally, without like any scams and not trying to force anything, you don't need to steal somebody's viewers. You don't. That's because you have bits? Oh, you did. Oh, some of you are new to Twitch. Okay, y'all. This is great. I love teaching y'all about things. So, if you ever start streaming, first thing you don't do is never promote your own stream and somebody else. Just because you wouldn't do that somebody's work, right? You wouldn't go into somebody's work being like, oh my god, I see you're working at this coffee shop. Hey, everybody else, go to the coffee shop down the street. Right. Neeks, I might go a little bit long today since it's Saturday. So if anybody wants to, you know, feel free. Like, if anybody has to leave or whatever, mods, totally fine. Anyways, so, yeah, don't promote yourself at somebody else's stream. But yeah, there are three statuses you get when you're as a streamer. You start off as an unaffiliated streamer, so you're just a random person on Twitch. That means you can't get money, you can't get subscribers, or you can now, but like you don't get any money from subscriptions, blah blah blah. Then you become an affiliate streamer. Once you're an affiliate streamer, you sign paperwork with Amazon or with Twitch that says you are now basically a contractor, a private contractor for Twitch, and you get donations, you can get payouts of certain things, you can get all sorts of little functionality that you wouldn't have as a normal streamer. That takes an average of 3 viewers, and you need to have 50 followers. Now, the next level up is called Partnered. Partnered used to give you additional benefits. I don't know what it gives you now, but it does make you look better for sponsors. And that is 75 average viewership for 6 days for 2 months. and you have to apply for it. So it's like a job application. You go up to Twitch, you're like, hey, Twitch, I got this. This is what I had. Can I become affiliated with you? Yeah, I think now it's not much different. It used to be that you get a better cut of the money. It used to. It does not do it anymore. Well, it might give you better ads, but it does not give you subs anymore. Now that has gotten moved to the Plus program, where you have to have 100 paid subs for 3 months. But it gives you a badge, so you're identified as a good streamer, and sponsors will look at you more favorably. I think there was an issue for a while that people would force their way into being partner, basically. And so, just because you could hit partner, you'd hit partner, you'd get the badge, and then you'd instantly drop back down. And so, it wasn't benefiting Twitch at all, it was just costing the money. So they're like, look, if you can get 100 paid subs, then clearly we're going to be making some money off of you if we get a better cut. Anyway, somebody said, Gene, guess what? So, what? What's up? I think it was, the Vestige. Hi, Vestige, what's up? Yeah. How am I doing? I'm doing amazing, Rainbow. How are you doing? Don't you dare say chicken butt. I will fight you. Oh, Moo, we should definitely play Risk of Rain sometime. Yeah, exactly. Your content's good. Somebody throw a shoe at Silver Vang. Thank you. Appreciate it. If you don't have a shoe emote, setting them on fire also works. Oh, you passed your exam? Hey, congratulations! Proud of you. I love that. What the heck is that? Is that a mob? Is that an angry mob emote? Ah, it's so cool. Oh, I fell. Okay, we need this. I need an AoE, so let's grab an AoE real quick. You know, I think I'll go with fire. So we're gonna grab, oh, shoot, there it is. And where's the fire? Come on, give me fire. Gas can. There it is. All right. And, aha, fire was the right choice. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I need a healer. Sorry, do you know the best way to promote yourself? Because I don't want to promote. Oh, okay, Zen. You know, if you, I don't know if you're in my Discord, don't die. Can't make me. I'm happy to give streamer tips, especially like in the Discord. I'll probably make a Discord section on there. But if you're ever like looking for like general like streaming advice, it's a good thing. First off, start to look at where your viewership is, okay? If you're trying to get your first 0 to 3, you're trying to get the affiliation. What you want to do there is you're going to work on yourself as a streamer to learn the streaming skill, okay? Discord section for mics. Well, I'll put everything like a streamer category. So promotion is not going to be what you really need to do at all when you start off. You can get 0 to 20 viewers without promoting yourself a single time. And in fact, if you promote yourself too early, you're going to get an audience that you don't really know what to do with, how to work with yet. And you do not have the skill yet to handle, and it's going to give you this false sense of achievement before you're ready to actually handle them. And that's why you should also never do follow for follow, because you're going to get this big number, it's going to give you this false sense of achievement, and you won't actually work on growing. So, one of the first things that you're going to do is you're going to go into the just chatting category, okay? If you can stream like every day for a week for just 1 hour, this is the best way I see it happening. It's a good way to practice this, okay? First off, you do just chatting category, and make sure you pick your tags based on who you are as a streamer. If you're a VTuber, put VTuber in there. You can put male VTuber in there, put anime, put stuff that you like to talk about. A few tags, right? And you're gonna start your stream, and you're just gonna talk. You're just gonna talk, okay? Here, this is how your first stream should look. You don't need to have anything in the background, actually. You can get rid of all of this. You can just be here on a screen. And start with just talking. This is just to learn how to do conversation with streaming, okay? Now, get yourself a piece of paper. Here, well, actually, for anybody who wants to be a streamer, here's a good way to start. Get yourself a piece of paper. Write down 5, 10 topics that you can talk on, that you can jump off of. For instance, dogs. Talk about a dog. You can be like, oh, different breeds of dogs. Oh, I love this dog. Have you ever seen this really funny dog? Smile.jpg or whatever it was called, that old creepy pasta. And you can bounce off of that. You can talk about a husky. You can talk about how yappy huskies are. So talk about people that you know who yap. You can talk about coworkers from that point on. Then from coworkers, you can talk about different people's jobs, etc., etc. This is the way that you keep a conversation going, and you keep talking all the time, and you center the stream on you. Mm-hmm. That is the first skill that you need to learn as a streamer, is how to talk, and to keep talking, and to bounce off topics. The second thing that you need to learn, funny, interesting facts work too, but remember that you need to be able to keep talking. So you have a funny, interesting fact, bounce off that, bounce off that, bounce off that, bounce off that. The second thing that you need to learn how to do is to use your viewers. Use your viewers. And what I mean by this is when you all talk, have you noticed how rarely I respond directly to you? But instead, I will continue on what you say, and I will continue off of something? For instance, you brought up the Belgian dog, and I can talk about dog shows now. But I'm not going to ask you a question, Gibbets. I'm not saying I use you, but I am responding to you in a way that builds off of the topic and keeps growing. Because you and I are not having a conversation. I am streaming, I'm entertaining people, I'm doing crowd work, and I talk to you as an individual. But if I talk to you and I were like, oh, how's your day going? And now I wait. Like this, Alaska Daddy, how's your day going? Nope, sorry everybody else, I'm talking to Alaska Daddy right now. Alaska Daddy, how's your day going? And you see, I have to wait for him to respond. There's a delay. I have to hope Silent Gene, exactly, boom, see, anything. And we don't know what he's gonna say back. And so now the weight of the entire stream is on him. Too many streamers try to do streaming as a conversation between the and there, Gucci, look how long that took. Look how much silent that was. And it made it so awkward for anybody else. Nobody else could really interrupt and have a conversation because I'm talking directly with one person. And that is something that a lot of streamers never learn. And they're like, why do I only have 10 viewers, 15 viewers, whatever? Because they're trying to have a personal conversation with each person. And that makes the entire stream, that means I put the burden on the stream on you. And that's not fair to you, is it? I don't know what this does. Striking enemies from higher elevation grants critical strike chance. Oh, cool. Oh, her. Sorry, I apologize. Your name's Daddy. You can't blame me for this one. Oh. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. All right, we're gonna be at the nerd voice now, and that's the thing that I like teaching. I might eventually do like a coaching course. Like maybe I'll do like a paid coaching service because I really don't want to become a content creator that just like teaches people. That's its own niche, and that's not what I want to do. But I do like teaching people because this is my hyperfixation. You know? Oh, y'all, I think I activated this thing earlier on accident. Dang it. That's too bad. Well, at least I got something out of it. Yeah. ADHD definitely helps. Exactly. Daddy, the state of mind. You're so right for that. You're so right for that. Honestly, most of life is a state of mind. You want to be a big streamer, it's a state of mind. A big streamer has a certain attitude, has all that kind of stuff. Gameplay? Oh, right. Sorry, I'm playing the game and I forgot to switch the screen. I'm such a good streamer. But honestly, it's just a thing about, like, you know, you want to make sure that you're streaming and that you're not making somebody else stream. You want to do something that allows everybody to just enjoy the experience. It's hard, it's difficult, and it's a talent to learn. And I think that you can definitely tell the people who like watched Let's Players growing up, because notice what have I said about this game so far? I have not talked about a single thing in this game, except when we were doing a bit earlier. But there is such this belief that people. Oh, I'm an introvert. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Can you believe it? Oh, I do not do good in public situations. The reason why I do good here is because this is a structured environment. Like a comedian, the closest that you get to a streamer, the closest you get to a streamer is a comedian. If you want to be a good streamer, watch a good comedian who has good crowd work. You stand on stage, and you talk to people, you talk about people. And the same reason why comedians get so mad when somebody heckles them. That is the same thing as promoting your own stream in somebody, or when you're like trying to like when you're trying to steal a streamer's attention, being like, hey, look at me, talk to me, only talk to me, I'm here, I deserve the most attention. That is like being a heckler at a comedy show. And that's a situation. And I would rather you heckle me because I can work off being heckled. But demanding attention is a different thing. So yeah, think of this as your stage. This is your stage. Everybody is coming to you, to your stage, to experience your stage. Gina's old. You're old, nerd. Oh yeah. And you could tell, like, that's why he would never be a comedian. I think I want to boost criticalness right now. What's my bleeding at? 6. Sweet. Gina's too. I am not too white for Thai spice. I was just saying, Thai spice hits me in a certain way that, like, I need to realize it made it so I couldn't gulp down the food like I wanted. It was probably better that way. Fight me! Okay, I have 3. Let's boost this up a little bit more. Neeks, I could step on you. No, that's the thing. You're not making it fun. You don't have to make it fun for anybody. Do not. The biggest thing about streaming is to realize you are the center of your stream. If you have no viewers or you have 1 million viewers, you should be acting the same way. You should be acting the same way. You're streaming for yourself, but but that's the thing. Get used to streaming with nobody there, so that when there are people there, you handle it the same. Talk all the time. Learn to do it. And if you can't be entertaining with nobody there, then you're not going to be entertaining with 100 people there. Your community will come to you, and your community will fit you. There is 8 billion people on this planet. Your community is out there somewhere, and they will come to you. You do not need every viewer. Viewers will come, they won't like your stuff, and they'll leave. Don't try to satisfy the people who aren't going to like your stream in the first place. Satisfy yourself. Thank you for the hydrate. Yap like an old man? Yap like an old man, sure. I will yap like an old man now. It's me, Gene. At my real voice. This is what I've always sounded like, actually. How dare you hurt your feelings over spell? I don't care. You and your want for the nerd voice. What is with that? Back in my day, we didn't have no Insta-chat. This is my real voice? I mean, no, this voice is too alpha to be my real voice. I know you are, Spell. Don't worry. I take nothing personally. All of you do. I know all of you are absolutely fantastic, honestly. Yeah, there's the one half that matters. It does. 5.5. I mean, look at the difference between being considered something and something else. But yeah, just stream. Just stream. That's all you gotta do. Enjoy your streams. Have fun with them. You'll be great. Why did we get Goblin Nerd Grandpa? What do you mean? What voice is this? This is not a goblin. Maybe it is. I don't remember anymore how my voices sound. I guess, wait. Do I have to talk up? Yes, there it is. Well, let's do this right. Like this? Yeah. I'm sorry. It's hard for me to keep track of my voices sometimes, but they're there. All right, what are we doing? Fire. All right, let's see where the level ends. Who is Gene anyways? I am me and you are me and we are all together. Sitting on a cornflake. What's up? Yeah, I am me and you are... Wait, no, give me a second. I am the Walrus lyrics. Hey, Pink, that's what the whiny voice is. That's the closest I get to it. The whiny voice. I guess I can do it more femboy. I can do it more femboy if you really want it. I am he as you are he, and you are me, and we are all together. See how they run like pigs from the gun, see how they fly. I'm crying. All right, I'm going to try to do the whiny voice from the thing. Because up here, it's like, you know, you actually came. I wasn't expecting that, but, and nobody else did, but I'm so happy you did. We'll talk up here then. This is just the voice I used in that one. All up here, so high. Makoto and what? Okay, guys, I'm a little lost right now. I can't find the exit to this map. If you see little red dots floating around, please just point it out to me, okay? Oh, somewhere. It's out here somewhere. I definitely can find it. And you know, girls don't really like me, and they always go for the bad guys. But I'm really the one they should love. I will always love. Sorry. Oh, there we go. It's over. Tiptoe through the tulips in the garden, that's where I can't wait to do the orc voice eventually. I can't believe nobody's requested me to add the orc voice, because that one's fun.
Go down here. It's me. I'm an orc.
Or the goblin voice. The goblin is even more fun. Hello, Night Blossom. Is it snowing near you? I have not looked outside and I refuse to. Oh, I'm still working technically. Give me a second. You almost choked on your cereal? I mean, that's not what else you... How far are we from that lemon? As far away as I can possibly be, hopefully. I'm avoiding that lemon like it's the plague. No, Deku's back here. He has this, like, it's like this far back in the voice. It's more like a fuckboy. Oh, God, John. You know? Where were we? I'm so confused. Dun, 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 dun. If you get to limit go, I shall all see the limit. Yeah, it's amazing. As you should. Ooh. Who said this VOD is going to be published, y'all? You don't even know. Oh, why are they not here? Y'all, why are they over there? I stopped paying attention for 2 seconds. I already lost the plot. Y'all, I've lost so much plot. I once existed. Let's see how many. I'm gonna take a look to see how many viewers we, how many average. We are with. We're so far away. We're so far away. We need like 500 more. So it's not gonna happen, y'all. Just forget about it, right? Yeah, just forget about it. The plot is the lemons along the way. True. I'm not at 4K right now. Twitch automatically rounds it up. I am at 3,970. We might get it in between stream if I do a TikTok tonight. What if I just do a really bad TikTok today so people unfollow me? Yeah. How's that sound, y'all? What if I just do like a really, really bad TikTok so everybody unfollows me? Guys, I only eat pineapple on pizza. I'm just gonna do... I need to do another voice where I pretend that my voice is a different voice. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. At night I lie awake and... Bet. Bet. I'm gonna do it. I will do a video. On it. I'll do a video being like, unfollow me. That way people will unfollow me. Because people like me a lot. They do it. They'll do it. They'll do it. They'll listen to me. To protect me. Yeet. There's one down. Oh, shoot. Let's grab another hat. I clicked the wrong button. No. But are the people like nice voices? I don't. Oh, no, I'm gonna die. I'm so high up in the air. That saved me. Ah! Don't kill me, please. Please don't kill me. I don't wanna die. Give me a second. Give me my thing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. 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 Okay, I got this. I got this. I got this. We're doing great. What's this? Cleanse all negative effects. Sick. And one dead. Bleed. Yeah. Woo. We have one more. But, why do you want whiny Southern that badly? Do you play Valorant? I do not. Valorant, you have to stop moving to shoot. I will play Rainbow Six Siege, but I will not do Valorant because you have to stop moving to shoot, and I can't get my brain around it. Like, I'm just gonna tell you, like, where my level of skill is at that game. I'm so bad at it. Alright, there's the... Oh, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I see the one. Alright, I mean, I got this one right now. Here we go. We got the one for us. I ain't gotta do anything else, right? We good? We Gucci? Yeah. Yeah. Something really does something for you? Well, I got you, sweetie.
I got you, baby girl. I can do this one all day long. This one's fun to do. Sits nicely. And I ain't got to worry about a single dang thing. Not a single thing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I mean, baby girl. Now, y'all. Anyways. Now we're gonna go up in this voice right here. There we go. This is the voice I want to use right now. I got this one right here. I ain't gotta go that deep. I could do this right here and be a little bit nicer. Oh, thank you, Virus. You have a good one, all right? I went too deep for that one. I have not completed a single rotation, by the way. I have not completed a single rotation so far. Oh, you don't have enough for Whiny? I'm sorry, dear, but it might also not be available right now. Well, unfortunately for you, I put a 30-minute cooldown on that voice, I think. And the squirrel talks to the shadow a lot, and the fox just wants to be left alone, peace and quiet, but the crow talks to the shadow as well. And the fox is annoyed and tries to go far from them, but nothing happens. Instead, they follow the fox. Gem Fox, I ain't got a single clue what you're talking about, but I enjoy it. Not first time playing Ristic Rain. I'm just really not paying attention to anything I'm doing. But I just play goofy-wise. It's fun. You're drawing a story on the wall? I like the story. Very nice story. Ain't no way we have lemon yet. Oh, you're a first timer. Got it. Y'all, if y'all ever want to play this game, like, I might do a community night where I'll play with a couple of y'all. And we'll do some with some streamers, but like... Yeah. Probably do like an off-stream thing, just hang out in Discord when I want to play the game. Oh, baby girl. Oh, darling. 5 years? Nah, nah, ain't lasting 5 years. Now, what I might do... So hear me out, y'all. Tomorrow we're gonna be watching K-Pop Demon Hunter, by the way. Carmia, what's a good time for you to watch K-Pop Demon Hunter? If you can't do tomorrow, let me know. That's fine too. I can always schedule for a different day and we do a different movie tomorrow. But I ain't seen it yet. And I did agree to some people that I'd watch it. Tomorrow will work? Alright, let me know the time. Maybe we can do like after the morning stream or something. Exclamation point, Discord. Alright, sweetie. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you. I keep getting told I need to do a cover from that, but I refuse to listen to any music from it until I have, you know, watched the movie. But then the fox realized it was a dream, a terrible nightmare, and the fox woke up, frightened of a terrible nightmare that had disturbed its sleep. I like that. Keep going, Gem Fox. If Free is in your range, you'll sing it with me. That would be so cool. Imagine me doing covers with all the mods. Like doing separate covers with everybody. So awesome. That'd be so cool. This is the game I usually play, though, if I'm, like, needing to have a conversation with somebody. I just want to hang out. Because it doesn't take a lot of focus, a lot of intellect. A lot of nothing. How long stay? Oh yeah, sorry, you asked that earlier. So today's stream, I don't know, until my vibe is off. So we'll probably go for another 30 minutes. And, oh, and I also said, so the fundraiser we're going to be doing, this is Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain 2, not Risk of Rain 1. When we do a fundraiser at my brain is gone and I can't remember it. I was gonna say something, but fundraiser, right? Okay, fundraiser. We're doing a classic subathon donathon. So at certain dollar amounts, I will be endlessly streaming. Like the stream will extend and get longer and longer and longer. So hypothetically, if we pass a certain point, money-wise, I will straight up quit my job and keep streaming. I have thought about what that money amount value would be, but I will non-stop stream if we hit a certain point. All right, have fun, Sleepy. Yeah. It's not 1 billion. It's not an insane amount either. I mean, like, it's probably double my, if it would probably be double my stream goal. Because then I would have, enough money that I could survive for a while. Oh, well, that's the thing. I will use up my sick time for a certain amount of days. Like, I potentially can probably go from July 14th to July 17th is my, like, my time I've set aside for this, right? But if I double the, like, overall goal, which the goal is high, don't get me wrong. There's no way we're gonna hit it. It would be enough that, like, I could cut expenses and, like, live for a decent amount of time. Yeah. Things just calmed down. Yeah. 20,000 would be the total goal. 20,000 would be the total goal. If I could hit 20,000, that would pay for all new equipment, and it would be enough for me to survive for a couple months. Yeah, and there's no way we're gonna hit that. I mean, like, I would be super excited if we did, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Going to see the Nutcracker? I'd love to see the Nutcracker. Yeah, no, I know, but, like, I wouldn't... I don't even know if I'd want you all to give me that amount of money. I'd feel a little bit bad. Like, the goal... The reason why I haven't done the fundraiser until now is because my goal is that we have enough people to draw attention. Then I can get some rich oil baron from, like, Saudi Arabia to fund everything because he likes VTubers. Yeah. And, like, again, you don't have to donate anything. If the donathon fails and we go 5 minutes and it's over, then it's over, okay? Like, that's fine. I will eventually afford all my stuff anyways. The goal is just to kind of make things happen faster and gives me kind of like a leg up on streaming, you know? Exactly, and it's like February 13th is when it's starting. It'll be Friday the 13th. We'll be starting on Friday the 13th in February. So it should be very, very cool. Oh, I gotta do the Easter egg here. Not an Easter egg. It's a secret. I don't know if I said it. That's a Friday. Yeah, it will start on a Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the first goal. And then if we, a minimum, the stream will at least be 8 hours long, okay? I guarantee the stream will at least be 8 hours long. If it goes no longer than 8 hours, it goes no longer than 8 hours. And yeah, like, feel free to, like, and you don't need to say it for me. Like, I love you all so very, very much. You are here. You all hang out. You vibe with me. You make me look good for sponsors. Thank you for the follow. Sorry, there have been people following and I've just not been responding. I am so sorry. You know what? No, I'm going to do this real quick. I apologize to everybody who's followed for a while now and I haven't said anything to do. Koshimi, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Menagerie. Hello, all Fur and Sonny, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Menagerie. And Broken Arc Faye, welcome to the Menagerie. Hello. Hello, Kitty Goth. I do like your name. Hello and welcome to the Menagerie. Same with you, Eugen. Hello. And Pumpkin, I like your name as well. Welcome to the Menagerie. Japanese name, I couldn't pronounce it earlier, but I did say hello to you and everybody else we've said hello to as well. So yes, there we go. I apologize. I've been so in the zone, just yapping. I entered flow state for my yapping. I mean, are y'all enjoying this? Are y'all having fun hanging out? We gotta evaluate where everybody's vibe is right now. How are we feeling? Yes, we're good. Oh, no. I want to... This is not exactly how I do my normal streams. And so the fact that y'all are just hanging out and enjoying me playing this random game kind of tells me that there's some more things I can do with streaming that I wasn't really considering before. So, like, sometimes it's just going to be, you know, streaming is going to be a background piece, and that's fine. I'm missing some of the pieces I'm looking for. Oh, nice! Okay, the whirring gross. There it is. That's what we're looking for. Oh, I hope you get well soon. All right. Get that. Break you down. Oh, no. You're watching and drawing? Nice. Yeah, I like that too. Like, on days like this, we just kind of hang out. You can draw whatever you want. You can do your thing. It's a nice vibe. Oh, what a nice voice he plays. Oh. Yeah, this game is fun. It's a good brain-dead game. The voice stays. Actually, no, the voice leaves every once in a while, and then I'll do a different voice, and then I can do a voice like this. And then I can do a voice like this. And then I can do a voice like this. And then I can, you know, all sorts of different things. You get the picture. No! I think I might have messed up. We're still, yes! Still in the game, still in it. No! There's one. Okay, I need to increase my ability to kill. Have you ever... Okay, and this thing I've been missing this entire time, we need one of these. Roll a dice and decide the beginning stream voice. That would be so much fun, honestly. Well, I can do a stream just where I try to figure out new voices to do. Two more of these. And I need one of you, so we can start increasing speed. Can you draw my VTuber? You can absolutely draw me. I love it when people draw me. It's one of my favorite things in the entire world. Shoot, what do I like out of you? We'll do this for now. It's not bad. You like sour candy? Have you seen? Oh, yeah. We are getting British tomorrow. You're getting the British voice tomorrow. Yeah. Unfortunately, the British butler will be coming tomorrow. I need to practice it. I haven't done enough of it. I do like Jump Story. Oh, is that another red? Holy crap. Okay. Okay, let's get something better this time. I am not British. We'll be doing the British Butler voice tomorrow, though. Explosives? Was it this one? All your attacks explode. Yes! I love this one. Woo! Yes. You will spend the time laughing at me. I know you will. Don't lie to me. Where'd he go? Hey, thank you for the follow. Thank you, and welcome to the menagerie. All right, let's do... Where's Titan Curl? There it is. What if we draw art, but not sure if we should share it or not? It depends on the content. If it's fetish art, I'd rather not see it. If it is something that's just lewd, that is okay. But post it on the Twitters, and that way I can repost it and retweet it, and it's my favorite thing. So many booms. Also, if you draw me with somebody else, as long as it's friendly, it's fine, but if it's anything lewd, please get their consent first. Well, those are nice stories, Gem. Well done. Is that another red? Okay, shoot. Yeah, let's do more missiles. If I stop chatting, I fell asleep. You are my good night stream for today. Oh, well, get some sleep. Go, Eeps. I hope you enjoy your Eeps, okay? Oh, what is this gate? What is this gate? Okay, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. This is a DLC. Jump. Here we go. What the heck is this? Why is it so quiet? Oh, this is weird. Whoa. I'm not used to this. It's... Oh, wait, what's that? I have no double jump. I have no double jump. I forgot to get a double jump. No. Oh no. Wait, did we get it? Did we get it? Hey! Woo! Oh, that was so cool. Oh, that was so cool. What is this? Enter the mainline portal? Okay, wait. It says to enter the mainline portal. There's got to be something else here. I know this. Is there something else here that I can see? So we have those little gates. Wait a second. I got the new DLC. Yeah. Okay, wait, what's this? There's gotta be something else. What is this? Okay. I knew it. I knew it. You should get it. Get it. Get it, Moo Moo. I've watered some of you proud of me. I am proud of you. Glad of you drinking water. I like the stories. You did good, Fox. Are you really a gambler? I am a gambler in the fact that I like to gamble, and I've spent too much money gambling. I mean, yeah. Whenever I get the opportunity, I like to gamble. But I always set aside money to gamble, like if I'm going to gamble, which I don't frequently do anymore. I set aside money, and I just, you know, I like to gamble. I don't spend any more money than I'm willing to lose. It's fun. Also, we have gambling themes in stream. And the lore of the character, that will be coming soon, has more luck-based elements. Yeah. It's the reason why I'm a gambler, not a professional one. Can't do it. Can't do it. I have too much skill, and I ain't got a single lick of that. Don't know what that voice was. It was fun, though. What the heck are you? That's so much money. I need to find ways to get more money. Chat wins most of the time, let's be honest. Hello, Sleepy. How you doing? It's so quiet. This is so weird. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to this area later. Let's see what just the normal escape is. The escape through the mainland, okay? If you have the issue there, you probably... Are you using an iPhone, Jocelyn? If you're using an iPhone, you have to go to the Discord website and do it that way. Yeah, you just have to turn... You have to go to desktop mode on your phone. There's a link there to explain it. But you have to do it. Is there music in the game? Oh yeah, there's... There is music. There's not music right now. Good night, sleep well. Alright, you know, I'll look at the other stuff later to figure this DLC later. We'll just do the main stuff. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Look at this. What is this? I knew it. It stole my item! Oh, and it put me in a bubble. What? Interesting. Did I not kill it fast enough, or do I have to do it again? Wait, do I have to... Oh, I might have to loop this. Interesting. Oh yeah, what type of pet do people have? That sounds like a good question. Y'all want to answer? You don't have to, of course. Well, cool. Alright, well, I'll get an ending of this game. And then... Should be good. Dog, cat, snake? Nice. We have a cat called Toast. Dog's all black. Nice, 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 nice. Where is it? Southern is probably on cooldown, though. They'll raid the bird feeders. Your snake's as tall as... I believe that. Pythons get really big. They're kind of crazy how big pythons get, you know? I'm surprised they're allowed to exist, being that big. Okay, we're... Thank you for the stretch, Maddie. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, I kind of want to get a chihuahua. Oh, thank you for the bits. Thank you, Ember. And thank you for the pets. Yeah, if you feed it, it's a pet. Me and my pet children. I don't have children, but that's what I would. That's the logic. You'd marry somebody for a snake? You know you could just get a snake. Just saying. Snakes are a little bit cheaper than marriage. All right, we got that southern voice right now. I can easily do that one. Very lovely. Why are you doing this one to me? What's with y'all fascination with this one? I mean, honestly, it ain't really the best. It's honestly one of the worst combination of voices I have, I think. Wait, we got at least a minute of this, so I'll stay in it as long as I can. Y'all been really waiting for that one, huh? I don't get it why you'd possibly want this one, but alright. My ex had an albino python and made her get rid of it. Why'd you make her get rid of it? That's not good. Oh, fine. Ooh. There you go. Where is this dumb gate? I can't find it anywhere. Ring pump? I'll take a ring pump right now. Oh, I think it's over there it is. I found it. Alright, Reva, you be good. Have a good one, alright? How long do I have on this one? Let me find out. It was just redeemed a minute ago. Oh, amazing. And we're done. I'm glad that one goes by quick. Sheesh. And one done, and two done. Might start going for the shields, actually. Ved, I suppose I can do this one. Oh, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she could have just used freeze dried mice or something, right? Change that a little bit. It's coffee fun. Yes. We got this now. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. Good. We're almost there. I hate that I have to wait so long for this thing to activate. Oh, thank you for the bits. Thank you. Thank you, Spooky. Can you have your own hat? You can have your own hat, of course. Why are we talking about hats? Thank you for the biddies, Goblin King. Greatly appreciated. I need a double jump. There we go. Want some more speed? That makes sense. Valid. Und... there. Alright, it's time. Yeah, this is the end of the game. We'll see if we make it. Not yet. I refuse to look. Fine, we'll look. Give me a second. Thank you for the bit, Spooky. We are 15. 25? 7, 8, 9. Wait, 25. Yeah. Tell your friend I say hi. You have a cowboy hat? I want a cowboy hat. Here we go. All right. That wasn't a cowboy. You were in a cowboy musical? That sounds like so much fun. Hey, hype train. What was the cowboy musical? Tell me about it. Oh, Crimson, I'm so glad this is helping me out a bit, you know? Is Annie Oakley a cowboy musical? I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying your time here. It makes my day. Anna, get your gun. All right, one should be over here. Thank you for the hydrate. I will drink my water. Here we go. Thank you for the stretch. Ugh. I need a sprint. Give me a sprint. There we go. Ooh, okay. End game. Reaching the end game. This game can go on forever, ideally. Like, you can actually just run loops and loops and loops of this game if you haven't ever played it before. And sometimes I do that. It's a lot of fun. And your character becomes crazy. I don't know if like anybody's actually like figured out how this game works. I assume some of you are just like, yeah, I'm paying attention. But like what I'm doing is I'm grabbing these different items and they keep boosting certain stats. So like some of them will make me shoot faster, some will make me move faster. A lot of fun. Thank you for the gifted subs. To who? Who'd you gift this? Wait. Did you gift a random sub? Or did you gift to somebody specific? Oh, the Amaranth. Okay, the Amaranth. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, because it sounded like oh shoot. The way my pronounce it like Amaranth, as in like the ASMR lewd streamer, who is a fantastic streamer, and God, she makes so much money. And so I was like, did you you gifting it to random big streamers? That's why I was like, what? Oh, that's fair. Welcome in, Junior Goalie. That would be cool, though. Are there other void creatures besides voidlings? There are other creatures, but not really void creatures. You'll see. There's a whole lore thingy, but voidlings come in different animal flavors. Each of the voidlings will have animal traits, like will have like their own ears. So you can have bunny ears, dog ears, whatever, and all of that would work. And the cage man, that's different. And that's why it's called the menagerie. Oh, don't worry about the flock. The flock's something, its own thing. You can have fox ears. You absolutely can have fox ears. Da 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 da. Oh, welcome. Thank you for the follow, Junior. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to the menagerie. No, 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 no. I am planning on doing a little TikTok about the cage man. Da, da, da. Thank you for the redeem. Come on. Okay, we have 2 more of these I need to do. 2 more pillars. God, you know, now that we've mentioned Amaranth, or like the big partner streamer Amaranth, I'm thinking about. Apparently, she will watch other streamers while she does her ASMR because she gets bored. And there was one time where Ludwig caught her in his chat, and being all like, "Are you watching me while you do this?" And she's just nodding. Oh, it's so funny, so funny. Cage Man. Oh yeah, you know the Cage Man. He's well, he's in there. Don't worry about it. No. The Cage Man's like the Bagman from D&D. He'll just, I mean, he's not real. The Cage Man's not real. He would never grab anybody and just make them vanish. It's fine. Can you kiss the Cage Man? You can try. I don't know. I haven't met anybody who met the Cage Man. Whether that is because the Cage Man took them away and they're gone forever, or I don't know. Could be any reason. All sorts of reasons. You want him to have a flower crown? I mean, you can give him one. You met the Hat Man? That's a different thing. Ooh, okay. All right. It's time. Are you ready? Are you ready to fight the final boss of this version that I'm doing? Shoot, I might have missed. No! Alright. Here we go. Yo, the Hat Man money. Can't take Benadryl, oh, the Hat Man money. What's he gonna do? Come out of the Benadryl fog and get it from you? No, obviously. Smart. Here we go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Ooh. Shoot. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Come on, go on, get one down. Just get one down. Nice. No. Ah! Ah! And we're done. We are done. I died. I didn't build him properly. That's okay. Y'all, that was fun. I had a good time. How are you all doing? Everyone have a good, fun time? Can we get some blankets? I'll bring you blankets. Are you ever mad? Occasionally. I try to control my emotions the best I can. There's a few times. I had a few times where like something like really like upset me, where something like completely crazy and random happened, and I had to take a breather. But, like, you know, good emotional regulation is important. And there's no reason to get mad at something like this. I got to hang out with y'all, had fun, talk. It's a game. If you're playing a game and getting mad at it, you should try a different game. Unless you have money on the line. Like, if you're doing this for a job, like playing a competitive video game and, like, you keep losing, then you get mad because it's your job and you're sucking and you're not making money. Besides that, though. I know, it's insane. Yeah, and that pisses me off. I pissed this stacking. Yeah, it's the worst. Okay. Tomorrow, Lemon. I don't think we've hit Lemon numbers yet. We haven't hit Lemon numbers yet. So, we're going to find somebody to raid out to. And then I'm just going to vibe for a little while, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do after stream. I technically said that I would make that one TikTok. Oh, idea. Okay, so we rated Goblin Fia because that is one person that I'm going to be collabing with on the 4th, right? But I don't know how many of you know Tippy, and Tippy is streaming right now doing a birthday subathon day. Okay, so do you want to hang out with Tippy? How's that sound? Tippy's very cool. Cool. Oh, what's up? Wait, what time are you streaming next? Oh, can we do the schedule? There it is. 3 a.m. MST and then 4 p.m. MST. Every single day. Every single day unless I'm doing a collab, which it will be different on that Thursday. Okay. We're going to go right out to Tippy in just a sec. But first off, let me just say thank you all for coming by. EST, would be 2 hours in the future. So 3:30 a.m. is 5:30 a.m. or 4 is 6. Still same time on Sunday? Still same time on Sunday. Am I doing early tomorrow? I will be starting at my 3:30 a.m. time on Sunday as well. Things have changed a bit with how I originally was doing things, so it's going to be a little bit different. Command should be !raid and then raid 2, I think. But yes. So plans for this week. I'm going to be bringing on a buddy at some point to start doing some more survival games with, because I need somebody to do that with. And we're going to be doing the collab on Thursday. It's going to be great. I am hiring somebody to edit all the dispatch videos content into a single video. So that'll be a thing. We're going to try to kind of do a Sea Dog style video so that everything's cut down to one thing, kind of like a lot of shorts. It should be like a lot of highlights. We'll see how that goes. And when that comes out, I want y'all to hype up that video, okay? Because it's gonna be my first YouTube video, and I need to be I need a hype so that y'all I'll want to do another one. Okay. All right, y'all. Go say hi to Tippy for me. And I will be back here tomorrow for the morning ASMR stuff. Oh, I dinged. I didn't like that ding. That was a work ding. Okay, there we go. Y'all are so amazing. Y'all been so lovely. Thank you all so much for making this stream so amazing. And I will see you on the flip side, okay? Got 90 of you. What the heck? Bye, lovelies. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And if you were straight before, I'm sorry, but you're now at least bisexual because I kissed you. Bye.